If you talk to 5 people, 1 out of them should be red. Okay? 1 out of 5. Share the program. So if you share the program with 5 people and they see the presentation, 1 of them should become a new client. That's just a baseline. If you're not at that level yet, then that means you need to work on your what? Skills. Skills. Don't forget, Karen and Una said this, 80% of people say yes after the 5th offer. So be persistent, 80% rule. Now when you go pro, when you start getting really good, you could actually get to the point where you're 1 out of 4. Instead of 20%, you're at 25%. And then you get really good, you could be 1 out of 3. You talk to 3 people, and 1 out of 3 becomes a client or a coach. But that's when you're pro, and that takes time. You have to develop those skills. So the TSFL stats to write down, Dan goes through this at many of the events. He'll, I'm sure, go through a version of this at Go Global. These are the average numbers. The average client spends at least $250 a month. The average health coach has about $1,000 a month in group volume. The average senior coach has about $1,700 in group volume. And the average executive director has $18,000 in group volume. So, now if you're going to want to set a goal of how big your business is going to go, if you go into Documents on Demand, you can download a cheat sheet on the compensation plan that shows you at each level what's the average group volume, what's the average number of coaches, senior coaches, and all that stuff. So there's cheat sheets for all this stuff. But I want to give you what I think are the key KPIs. And KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. For example, if a client calls you and says, I only lost half a pound this week, that's a key indicator that they're not what? They're not in the fat burning state, right? Key performance indicator for a coach with a client is at least 2 pounds a week. That's an indicator that they're probably in the fat burning state, okay? So for this business, if you want the business structure that you want is a fully integrated health coach, what that looks like is you're a fully integrated client, you're certified, you're on B-Slim, you're at least at 6,000 or more in frontline volume. That's what it takes to become. By the way, when you're a fully integrated health coach, the company gives us what? Leads. When you're a fully integrated, when you do these things right here, the company has this website, and some people go online and they buy some MetaFast, and when they're checking out, they say, hey, would you like a free health coach? And they go, sure. 50% of them say yes. Those people go into a pool for certified health coaches to be shared. Sure, you got a new client. This person needs some help. They don't know anyone from Take Shape for Life. Be their coach. I love those. I get those every week. So to become a fully integrated health coach, here are the 3 things that you got to track. Number 1, how many client invites? A client invite is when you have that little conversation that Una and Karen so wonderfully demonstrated, and they say, gosh, yes, I am interested. And then you say, why don't we get together for coffee? Why don't you come to the next Healthy Happy Hour? Every time you invite somebody to take a look at this, some of them are going to say yes, some of them are going to say no, and some of them they say not now, right? But the number of invites will directly lead to the number of what? Client presentations. And if you only invite 2 people, chances are you might get lucky and get 1. But if you really want to be sure that you get a chance to present the program, you need to at least invite how many? 5. On average, 5. Okay? Now, when you get that presentation, guess what? Oftentimes we find that 20% is very low. In this business, 20% is actually low for somebody seeing the program. How many of you agree? Especially if they know you and trust you, it's more like 50 or 60% of people say yes on that first presentation, right? But the number of presentations will lead to what? Number of new clients. So these are the key performance indicators. The next level is, okay, I want to be a fully integrated business coach. To qualify for that, you're a fully integrated client, you're a fully integrated health coach, you're connected to the Bio Network and your coach, you help at least 5 senior coaches, and you have that 15,000 I talked about in group volume. How do you do that? What's the key performance indicators there? Well, it's these ones, because you still need to maintain that. So it's those ones, plus team building. The team building key KPIs are how many health coach invites, how many health coach presentations, and how many what? New coaches sign up. This is what's going to drive your business as far as team building. So the last thing I want to finish up with, was that helpful? Yes. Now if you know if there's only 3 things that you track, if you want to be a fully integrated health coach, what are the 3 things? Number 1, the number of client. Number 2, the number of client. And then finally, the number of new clients. If you support those clients and you integrate them like Greg and Denise taught you, some of those will become coaches, right? As they're doing well in the program, somebody's doing well, you say, hey, you might make a great health coach. Would you like to come to the next training? So that's a health coach candidate invite. That's what ACC. Health coach candidate invites. Number 2 is health coach candidate presentations. And number 3 is the number of new coaches on your team. You work with those coaches and you help them do the same thing. So to kind of finish off this, the power of intrinsic motivation. When you find somebody who really wants it because it matters to them, that intrinsic desire, that values-based, principle-based reason to do this, not for extrinsic reason, but here's what I like to say. When your why is bigger than your excuses, that's when you tap into your greatness. So go back to that thing I asked you to do at the beginning and set your goal. Get with your mentor. Identify your why. What's your vision for this? Set together a plan. Give yourself years. Don't just give yourself months. Give yourself years to get there and dedicate and roll up your sleeves and go to work with us because we want to help you get your goals. That's one of the beautiful things about Take Shape Life. It's a community of other people helping other people. All right, so we're going to move into our next